It's okay, it's not one of my absolute faves, but a dance competition is like, isn't really as difficult. Hi everyone, it's Kallie Marie. I have been a dancer for literally my entire life and have been competing since I was 5 years old. I've learned a thing or two about competitions. I would have loved to have someone had told me what competitions was like and what competitions were the best and what competitions were not so good. I'm going to be telling you my favorite competitions, the ones that are really hard, really easy ones that I've been to. Also the average, like what a dance competition is like, what are awards, what the heck is a first overall on my solo contemporary age division, like what is that? So, oh my gosh, I got a diamond, I got a crystal. I'm going to be telling you guys all about that today. So, my current favorite is Revel Dance Convention. I went to it last season and I absolutely loved it. I really want to be a pro reveler and I really want to do that this year. Celebration Talent is another really good competition that I've been to. Hollywood Dance Jams is a good one. It's a little bit more difficult. Star Talent isn't really as difficult.
It usually depends on how many people are there. There wasn't a lot of people there for this one.
It's another one that I've been to. Bella Moxie is about the same level as Hollywood Dance Jams. It's really difficult. World Class is another dance competition I've been to. It does not have a convention. It's okay. It's not one of my absolute faves, but it was a good competition. Dance Machine is another one kind of like that. Not a convention, but it was okay. It wasn't like an all-star, oh my gosh, favorite of mine, but it was okay. Showstoppers is another one that I've been to. It's very large. I'm not joking, there's 2,000 dances at a regional event. It was literally Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. So it's a very huge competition and it's really hard to do. Other dance competitions I've heard of but haven't been to. I really want to go to some of these. All of these are so extremely hard. Dancers that go are phenomenal. The Dance Awards is one. They have, like, if you've ever seen like the TDA Mini Best Dancer, that sort of thing, it's the Dance Awards. NYCDA is another one. 24/7, Jump, Dance Palooza, those all have conventions attached. Star Power is another really good one that I've heard of. Usually if they have a convention attached, they're pretty hard and really good. I love going to the hard ones. I love being challenged. My sort of faves are the really difficult ones. And the dances in a competition are broken down by the age, the number of dancers in it, and the style of it, and sometimes the level that you enter the dance as. So the first thing is age. Now, dance competitions have their own sort of names that they call different age groups. Sometimes it's like really broken down. It's like 2 different ages, like 6 and 7 or 8 and 9. And sometimes it's literally like 15 and up. Generally, they have 6 to 7 mini, and if they have any younger ages, 8 to 9 is usually the junior category. 10 to 11.
We're just gonna ignore the fact that I said this wrong, so follow the numbers on the screen and not what I say.
11 is the preteen age category. 12 to 14 is usually teen. Sometimes it's 13 to 15, but it really just sort of depends on the competition. And 16 to 18 or 19 is senior. So I'm a senior. Teen is one of the hardest age groups to compete in. I feel like a lot of seniors sort of end up quitting because they're burnt out. So that's why teen is like the hardest to compete in. But
I don't know why, but it's always been like the teenage category was like
so difficult. The next way that they break down all of the dances in a dance competition is by the number of dancers in that dance. So it starts from like smallest amount of dancers, which is 1, which is a solo. It's very prestigious to have a solo. At our studio, you have to like apply for one and they like have to accept you. For all the dances, sometimes you have your teacher from the studio will teach the dance, or even sometimes you can have a guest choreographer come in and teach it to you. After a solo is a duo or trio, which is 2 or 3 people. You start into the group dances. And then it begins your small group, which is around 4 to 9 people, depending on the competition. And then a large group, which is like 10, 14, 15 people. And then you begin like your super groups, your lines, and like very much depends on the competition because it can get up to like 25, 50 people. The next way to classify it is you have your age, your number of dancers, and now you have your categories. So what kind of style is it? Is it tap? Is it jazz? Ballet, hip hop, clogging? And there's an open category where there's tumbling, acro allowed. I've even seen a song and dance category. And then finally, the introduction of levels. This is a very, very touchy subject in some of the dance world. Some people very much do not like levels. Some people do. It just sort of, it's like a personal preference. Usually there's a beginner, an intermediate, and then an advanced level. The beginner is obviously beginner. Intermediate is where things sort of get rough because some people want to win really bad. It should be in the advanced, but they go to the intermediate so they can win first place. That's sort of where that gray area becomes. The advanced is where like you really, really want to be pushed and you really, really want to get better. The way that this is usually decided, it really depends on the competition, but most likely it relies on how many hours you're in the studio. So if you're there from like 1 to 2 hours a week, you'd definitely be a beginner. If you're there from like 3 to 6, I want to say is average, you'd be an intermediate. And if you're there like 6+ hours a week, I think that would be classified as advanced. It really, really just depends on the competition and to follow those guidelines. Now we begin the awards ceremony. The dances are usually broken down into sessions. Sometimes it'll be like mini jazz solos will go first, then the mini contemporary solos, then the mini lyrical, then the mini hip hop, then the mini musical theater, then we'll start junior solos, then teen solos, then so on, so on. So it gets gradually gets older. They'll switch from the styles, or sometimes it's completely random. After their set section, we'll have an award ceremony for that session. In this award ceremony, they will begin with adjudications. So during the dance, while you are dancing, the judges are giving you critiques through a mic. You're gonna get it back after the dance. At the very end of the dance, they will give you a score. It's usually out of 100. It is a point-based score. Around 50-ish, 40-ish points come from your technique score. Were your feet pointed? Were your turns clean? Did you have straight knees? Were you turned out? Then you will have around 20 points for like musicality. Were you on time? Were you using your music? Around 10 points could be your stage presence. Were you happy? Were you energetic? Did you have emotion? Did you have faces? Another 10 points could be to your appearance, which is were you clean? Did you have nice tights? Was your hair slicked back? Another one could be your difficulty or like well execution. So did you use the stage? Did you travel? So it really sort of depends on the competition. This is so subjective to the competition. It's crazy, but it's usually technique is the most. That's one thing you can rely on. There's about 3 to 4 judges depending on the competition. They will either add together this score or they will average it. If they average it, it's out of 100, and if they add it, it's out of 300. We're gonna use the 100. The score will fall into a range, and that becomes your adjudication. Hypothetically, if for an 85 to a 90, you would get a platinum. And then from a 91 to a 97, that would be a double platinum. And then from a 98 to a 100, you would get a diamond. So a diamond would be like the highest you could possibly get, and it would be a really, really good score.
I don't know if I made it very clear on this, but to clarify, the diamond, platinum, double platinum sort of thing is the adjudication. And on stage, you only really get your adjudication, so you know kind of like a ballpark of where you got, but you don't know your actual score until after the competition.
Then from there, you can kind of understand how well you're gonna do ranked up to next to the other dancers that are there. Sometimes they will do special awards or judges awards, which is where a judge will go out and be like, I really found this dancer to have wonderful technique and I just want to recognize that, and they'll give the dancer or dancers an award for that. It really sort of depends. Some competitions like Showstoppers, they don't do anything. It's just adjudication, placement, done. Revel, I know, gives out a lot of scholarships and a lot of recognition, different types of awards. We begin overalls usually. They can go as very, very specific in overalls to be a senior, so 17 to 19-year-old solo, contemporary. All the 17 to 19-year-olds that had a contemporary solo who did the best contemporary solo. From there, you go into overalls for the senior solos. That could be applied to your group dances as well. So what was the best senior small group dance? That's sort of the main overalls that they do is age group and the number of dancers. And that's usually the most overalls. So if someone says, yeah, I got like third, and that's usually what you'll hear. Sometimes for very specific competitions, they will do either 13 and up or 12 and under highest scoring, or the highest scoring of the entire competition period. That's like without, it doesn't matter what age group you're in, how many dancers were in it, what the style was, it is who scored the highest. If you got like the 13 and up or 12 and under highest score period, or like the highest scoring of the entire competition, that is crazy. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning all about competitions. I love competitions and I love going to competitions. Give it a like if you did enjoy it. Comment down below questions that you might have about competitions still. If you've been to a competition, what was your favorite? And then subscribe to my channel because I love dancing, all sorts of teen lifestyle. Watch this video because it's all about conventions and how to stand out in convention classes and so you can win at these really hard competitions. I hope you guys have a fantabulous day.